heard that. Okay, good. So
Compadres, friends, amigos. Mates, blokes, blimies, and so forth. My name's host Eric. I'm the host of Talking to Famous People, the internet television program that never talks with famous people. Hence the name, of course. Makes perfect sense.
I love the name.
Thanks.
Without your name, I wouldn't have found you.
True that. So, how do different types kill time? Well, this is one of the ways I kill time.
Such a good topic.
It came up because Rachel received as one of her gifts a very TE painting craft thing, right? Like a paint by numbers Van Gogh kind of thing.
It is, yeah, Van Gogh. So.
And I was talking about how my mom used to like to do jigsaw puzzles, right? It seems like not a particularly productive use of time to me, but that's
how far I got, and that's probably you were napping like an hour and a half, maybe. Yeah, and also there are tables in white that you can barely see that I did too. I was thinking, I'll just do the largest size first. This is the largest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, ISFJs, they'll do your jigsaw puzzles or other kind of puzzly things. It's their way of expressing TI third,
Yeah.
I don't think INFJs are as inclined to those kind of puzzles, but
no.
But like my mom, in addition to loving things like Masterpiece Theater, where you got your English people and your Miladies and stuff, she also likes jigsaw puzzles and other kinds of crossword puzzles, things like that. Both my parents did the crossword puzzle for many years. High Zay Black, High Legends Fall.
Crossword puzzles? I like crossword puzzles. That's one thing.
Crossword puzzles are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sup, Gen Xio.
Wait, as in like writing it in or find word search? I'm better at word search.
Writing it in where
I'm not.
Give you a clue and you tell them what word it is.
I'm not good at those actually. Unless it's celebrity, then I'm total.
Zayden Black, that Hey Girl was directed to me. Miss Thang is here. Hey, Miss Thang. Is that really your name? Did I type, No, I am, I feel like I'm on the mend kind of from being under the weather.
Yeah.
I successfully chipped away the sharp part of my broken tooth that was scraping my tongue. Thank you. So that was nice. That was a pleasant success when that happened.
That is a pleasant success. I'm happy to hear that.
I've gotten a lot of sleep, and I'm feeling pretty rested, but I still feel not 100%. Like, I don't know if it's a function of you're popping in for a card reading. Okay, Miss Thang. Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Why not? Here you go. I'm going to give you the 1, 2, 3. The 1, King of Pentacles. Either you or someone you know is the King of Pentacles in your life that play a significant role in something that's happening right now. Really important.
With your money.
With money, stuff like that, yeah. That's the Pentacles. All right. Now, card number 2. So we'll call that your practicalities. Okay? This is your practicalities card. This thing. Here's your principles. Betrayal. So you're probably, what that card means is loyalty is a high priority to you as a principal. To put a positive spin on it, loyalty is of high priority. And lastly,
You could be a heartbreaker.
you've got your practicalities, your principles. Now, your moisture.
10 of Cups.
10 of Cups, this is your emotional self. It's full of rainbows and lovers and ladies sitting on rainbows. It's wonderful.
Very in touch with it.
It's also got a red sun like the Japanese flag.
Yes, I never noticed.
Brings a little bit of a Far East twist to the occasion. Nikola Haristov wants one too. Okay.
Cool.
All right, Nikola Haristov. Nikola Haristov, we're going to start you off with the practicalities, okay? The practicalities. For Nikola Haristov. 2 of Swords. Practicality, it's waiting time. Nicholas? Okay. Nicholas, huh? Nicholas, it's waiting time. On a practical level, you just need to wait right now. Now, on a principled level, you just need to go and conform more. Conform more. That's what this says. You're not conforming enough. And lastly, your emotional self. The moistest tenders of your dewdrops. Ooh, look at that. The Lovers. The Lovers card. Ooh la la. Well, maybe what this is telling you, if you wait and play things conventionally, then you end up with the naked lady in a cave.
I think so.
Ooh la la. Ooh la la. La loo la 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 loo la la. Okay. Doing pretty well. So let's see. Sky Gear. Okay, you're going to get a draw too, Sky Gear. Your practicalities. The root of your practical bone. If you look for the root of the practical bone, you'll find there's a nerve ending that touches the bone of the principle as well. No, your practical bone. Ooh. Your practicalities are falling out of a tower. Did I get your text? Maybe. Do I have you in my thing as Octavio? I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, I got your text. It was on January 23rd. That's good. Good text. I received it but didn't read it. Is the answer to your question. Now I've read it though. So thanks for following up on it. Principle. Sky Gear, it's just a crapshoot for you. Just a complete crapshoot. Your practicalities are a mess. Your principles are a crapshoot. And your emotional tenders, your dewdrops. Let's find out. We got 2 cards.
Ooh.
This is like you don't want to fight, but you don't know what to choose to fight for.
That sounds like some SE polar.
You're a mess, Sky Gear. You're a terrorological mess. Okay?
Can we do one for Pee-Pee? I want to know about her in and outness.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Do one for the cat. Cat, your practicalities. Family. Love.
Sounds good.
Your principles.
Pee-Pee's principles. Aw, judgment. She can be very
She's a little judgmental.
judgy, yeah.
And her emotional moisture heart. She's ready to fight.
So I think
she's ready to
she's
fight for her
prickly.
right to party. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you mad bro. Sure, we'll do you next.
Yeah.
Let's find out what you mad bros practicalities are today. This one again. This one just keeps popping up.
Wow, that's at their
Your
time.
practicalities. Now your principles.
The
You
judgment
mad, bro.
card. Yeah. The judgment card is the box art on my cat tarot deck. That's cool, Octavia. So then nice that you have a cat one. I like that one.
Your
Ooh.
principles, roll, baby, roll. Now, your moistness. You mad, bro? He's not just mad, he's also soft and gentle on his inside parts. The Hanged Man. Oh, you've got a waiting, kind of unsure relationship with your own due-ness.
Look at it from a different perspective.
What about Putka? What about Putka?
I'd like a reading.
Would you like a reading?
Yeah,
Sure.
please.
Let's do Rachel's practicalities. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll do you next, H, after I do Rachel. Rachel's practicalities summed up in this card right here. She's feeling like the Page of Pence. Free to be kind of, we're both freed up to be kind of childlike in practicalities. So.
Yeah.
Hi, Leaf Drummer. Now your principles. I don't know what to do that. It's
I'm
generally
working towards
satisfaction.
Yeah.
I think it is a satisfaction card.
I do.
Now your emotional dewdrops.
I can't wait to see it.
The chicken tenders of your menu.
Aww.
The lovers card. Ooh la la. Aren't I a lucky one? Did you hear about those hedge fund fat cats getting screwed over because a whole lot of people dumped money into GameStop stocks? No, I didn't.
I didn't either. I had an uncle who was into hedge funds and he stole billions from people because, he would spend the money, he just didn't know how to get it back.
It's easy to do that.
I know. His name is Uncle Sam, and he's probably ENTJ. Hedge funds was shorting GameStop. I'm not surprised. I'm gonna be like 20 million from 50. Hello, PNP. She just stuck her head in for a little bit. She's letting her in and out kittiness shine the last few days.
Yeah, I know what
your Uncle Sam stole. Yeah, exactly. Uncle Sam stole your money. Hello, PP. Yeah, Ethan McDonald, we do. I believe also in what Eric says that Tom Brady is probably the most mature ESFP.
I mean, the thing to remember is that the market is only loosely linked to actual, performance of a given company. But it is linked. So if the subreddit managed to artificially inflate the value of that stock, which caused people who were shorting it to lose money, those people who were shorting it lose money in the long run. But it doesn't make the people who invested in GameStop, that's not good for them. The people who actually invested in GameStop at its at a value that's higher than it's actually worth are going to end up losing money.
Yeah, and GameStop went bankrupt.
And GameStop will still go bankrupt anyway. The reason the hedge funds were betting against it is not because there was some sort of conspiracy to let's kill GameStop for profit. It was because everybody thought this is not going to be a successful company for very much longer for good reasons. For the same reason, Blockbuster Video is not a successful company any longer, you know?
GameStop, like, I know in New York, like, there are no GameStops anymore. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm thinking of Radio Shack, but
Radio Shack's out of business, but
Yeah.
GameStop's soon behind for good reason. You know, it's like there's not really. I mean, I guess for consoles, right? It's like console games tend to have less downloadable content, but the bottom line is, at the end of the day, to be maximally efficient in the market, you need your content to be downloadable, right? So it's a good company to bet against. If you bet for this company on some ridiculous grounds, like you're costing hedge fund managers a bunch of money, you're not costing hedge fund managers money. You're costing individuals who invest in hedge funds money. And I mean, it's not sending anybody a message. No sane person takes any message from this at all, except, wow, people can be dumb. You know, it's like, why was everybody betting against GameStop? Because it's not a viable business model. Pumping a bunch more capital into a sinking ship is not a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Period. If you pump some of your capital into that sinking ship and successfully kept it afloat, that's not a good thing. Children, stop being children. Mortgage, you're being a child. If it continues, hedge funds will literally go bankrupt. No, because hedge funds can not just short something, they can bet for it to succeed as well, right?
Yeah.
So wouldn't that just shift the focus of the market to hedge funds anticipating how your group of power players is going to behave? Or do you really think that the subreddit is going to continue to pump their own money into failing stocks? Is that what you really think, Morris? Do you really think the subreddit is going to continue to pump money into failing stocks to hold up businesses that they like because they don't like the fact that they're going to go belly up? No. You're crazy if you think that. There's nothing wrong with Wall Street. You know, Wall Street's not the problem. Wall Street is all of America. It's all, like, everybody who's receiving some sort of public pension is that pension is based on market performance.
Ah.
You know, it's like, yes, hedge funds can bet against things succeeding because if they're right, then they were smart to do that. You know? A certain hedge fund is losing so much money they're going to go bankrupt if this continues. What do you think a hedge fund is? Do you know what a hedge fund is? Do you know how people invest in hedge funds, what they are, why people invest in hedge funds? Why they're called hedge funds?
I only know a little bit about it. Could you tell us more?
Well, I mean, the idea is to hedge against some of your investments, right? So it's kind of like insurance against some other investments failing. Now, some people prefer to invest purely in this kind of short selling approach that he's talking about. But you know, that's part of it. That's part of what it means to have publicly traded companies, is that people can use those kind of strategies so they wish, you know. That it's like, would you prefer a stock market that only allows you to predict that the stocks are going to go up?
There's no way that.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense, right?
No.
It's a financial partnership that uses pooled funds. Correct. Where do you think those funds come from? Pooled from where? You think the hedge fund manager is some billionaire playing around with, I guess, his own money? No. That's why he's a hedge fund manager. It's not rich people's money. It's public sector money. It's middle-class Americans' money. It's banks. It's businesses. It's people from all walks of life invested in the stock market in various ways, including some hedge funds. There's nothing uniquely bad about hedge funds. You've not articulated anything that's wrong with hedge funds.
If you do,
you just say that it's only rich people who get hurt, even though that's factually false.
Yeah.
You begrudge this methodology of investing and growing wealth because you don't engage in it yourself, even though nothing is stopping you from doing so. Why? Because you're being a child. That's why. That's called childhood, you know? Well, look. A well-diversified portfolio invests in a lot of different things, Nicholas Watson. And a good money guy will have your portfolio well-diversified. So you are incorrect. Lots of public pensions have money invested in a variety of kinds of investments, mutual funds. Why do you not have a problem with mutual funds? Why with hedge funds but not mutual funds? Or do you also have a problem with mutual funds? Principle is the same. It's just one's betting on a stock to win and one's betting on a stock to lose, right? So why are you so opposed to the one but not the other? Do you have any good reason for this? No.
Yes, yeah.
But aren't hedge funds for rich guys? So get rich and participate in a hedge fund. No, they're not. Short selling is considered more of a rich person's operation because you are basically saying, I'm going to sell this for less than it's worth now to you on this delayed interaction. And if it's worth still less than I sell it for you, then we'll calculate, we calculate the deal then, and whoever comes out ahead, You don't have to buy somebody short selling something either. Remember, these are consensual arrangements made between individuals who are choosing to invest one way or another. Even financial experts are saying this accomplished something, sending a message, and yet here is Eric again. Okay, Nicholas Watson, if you had a reason to believe this, you'd be able to distinguish why you think mutual funds are distinct from hedge funds in terms of goodness or badness, right? You pointing to experts, that's the textbook appeal to authority. Give me a reason why you believe it. You're the one making the assertion. If you don't have a reason, you have no reason to believe it then. So you shouldn't believe it. Whatever experts tell you, quote unquote. I mean, I put on a lab coat, I can convince you to commit genocide.
Pretty much. Yeah, anybody can participate in a hedge fund. I believe, right?
Sure, absolutely. Is it as simple as maybe buying certain number of shares of Mbti? No. Are there hedge funds that are exclusive that you have to invest a certain amount to get into it? Absolutely there are. And those are all consensual decisions by the individuals who choose to invest in those and choose to create those. Sometimes people get ripped off. Who gets ripped off the most by billionaire hedge fund manager, quote unquote? rich people.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to say that. When I was talking about my uncle, I wasn't trying to say that I was like.
Right. There are no poor people who got ripped off by Bernie Madoff. They were all at least reasonably wealthy before Bernie made off with their money, right?
Yup. 100%. My uncle came from money.
So, I mean, the fact that some financial devices are used in a way that allows them to have more leverage than they should is why we have regulations on the stock market. I am not opposed to market regulations when they produce a level playing field. I agree the field is not quite as level as we'd like it to be, possibly, in terms of the stock market. But it's more level and it's a more true accountability forum than just about any other. A lot of poor people got ripped off by subprime mortgages, which is to say, absolutely, which is when in fact banks are loaning money speculatively and people are buying houses speculatively, not to invest in them, but as speculation, then they are using the wrong approach to with the wrong financial mechanism, right? That's not a mechanism. Real estate is not a speculative mechanism for banks issuing mortgages. They're supposed to be issuing mortgages to people who are buying homes to live in. Regular people got on this bubble of I can quickly turn these houses and make money without doing anything. Well, those bubbles are always going to pop, right? No, that involves no hedge funds.
Yeah, no. Fannie and Freddie, exactly Legends Fall. It's so funny because, like, I literally worked for a law firm it was real estate law. And, of course, 2006, 2008 was, like, their high mark because, like, all these people were buying mortgages and they couldn't pay it back because they didn't understand, like, what they were getting into. So,
well, the thing is,
but it didn't last. It was a bubble.
But here's the thing: Jen Exel talks about, having to short sell his house, which is to say, sell for less than he bought it for, potentially. I don't know if he actually sold it, but I'm saying, being in a situation where somebody might have to short sell their house, which is to say, take a loss on it. Mm-hmm. If people were purchasing homes to live in, that loss of equity wouldn't matter because the property value would recoup eventually and probably surpass their purchase price and whatever. It only matters if they purchased a house that's outside of their actual ownership potential range, Like, if I'm buying this house because my total payments are going to be about the same as I was going to pay in rent anyway, so I might as well put equity into this property. If I'm buying a house like that, it doesn't matter if the equity drops, right? I mean, Nicholas Watson, I don't know what it is you're even claiming that every pundit is saying. It sends a message. What does that mean exactly? What impact do you expect it to have? What positive impact? Who's the enemy here that you keep trying to gesture at but not articulate? Rich people? The demon that everybody always wants to demonize rich people? So the point is, if you bought a house and it lost equity, but you were planning on living in it anyway, and you had already accounted for the fact that the rent, the mortgage was equivalent to what you'd be paying in rent or something, then it didn't matter if you lost equity if you're planning to stay there for 20 years anyway, because in 20 years the real estate market situation is going to be entirely different. It only mattered because people bought more than they could afford as payments on the principle that they were going to turn it and sell it and profit that way before they got caught on their lack of liquidity. And of course the banks encouraged that bullshit by incentivizing successful closure of mortgages rather than the successful issuing of mortgages to people who were the proper kind of people to get mortgages, you know?
I think the movie The Big Short is about all of that.
Well, this is hardly the first time in history, Nicholas Watson, that automatic stabilizers like selling stops come into play. This happens fairly often. Anytime there's a sudden run on something, buying or selling, then they'll take sort of breather breaks, you know, where they pause transactions on that stock in order to prevent panics from snowballing. So that's not surprising that occurred or a meaningful argument for anything. Will cost who billions of dollars? Will cost who? Hedge funds. No, but who are the people who get cost the money? Remember, hedge funds aren't people. They don't own money. So, Nicholas Watson, who are the people who are hurt by this? That you are so happy that these people are hurt? That you take such glee in their suffering. Who are these people? Okay, but who are the people, the human beings, Marge? I'm talking about human beings, Nicholas Watson and Marge. Who are the human beings who are hurt by this? And what is it? Why do you have it out for them? No, Melvin Capital is not a human being. That's a hedge fund name. So who are the human beings that you have it out for that you're so happy to see them suffer? And why do you hate them so much? What do you mean I'm not partaking in the logic I'm expressing? You're just giving me info. You're not giving me any info. I keep asking you why it is that you're so happy about this. Yeah, my logic is not personal, right? This is I don't have any horse in this race. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything behind what you're saying. If there's anything behind what you're saying, then you'll be able to answer these questions, but you're not able to answer any of them. So that means I can't give any weight to what you're saying, really. It is crazy that subredditors could do this, but I mean, what did they buy? It's true that subredditors can collectively, it can be sort of like a flash mob on a stock that causes its price to skyrocket. And that's all well and good, but what did they buy? It's not going to stay up there, right? Who ultimately loses money on this that gets hurt most of all? All the regular subredditors who decided to purchase this stock even though it's not worth anything. Anybody know any other YouTubers who live stream about psych stuff? Yeah, Snow Sky, you should go to Frank James and Megan Lagoda and
I think Megan Lagoda's still with her girlfriend.
Oh, she is? But I thought
think so.
Apparently she recently made a video. Did you hear from them live stream earlier?
Yeah.
About how it's difficult to be in a relationship with an ENFJ because they're pretty perfect. It's pretty hard to be with them.
Well, maybe she would go against the technical, like, Instagram. Like, there's, like, actual, like Instagram, like, if you take your pictures of your partner off of Instagram, like, that means you're definitely done. But she might not. She might be like, in my heart forever kind of breakups.
So okay, more said a ton of them bought it when it was really low. Okay, so this gets juicier and juicier. So some clever NTJ subredditors started a pyramid scheme, basically, where they bail out as soon as a bunch of subredditors buy in. That's just that's skeevy shit.
Uh-huh.
That is some skeevy ass shit. Let me tell you, that's much skeevier than what hedge funds are doing.
Yeah.
And it's a totally legal pyramid scheme because they get people like you to buy into the politics of it. It makes it totally legal.
Wow, really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
If it's a political movement, if it's an expression of free speech in politics, it's totally legal.
Wow.
But some brilliant INTJ dreamed this up as a pyramid scheme. Obviously, the people who got in early went on this by selling a bag full of shit to everyone who gets in later.
Oh my god, it's so true.
That's what this actually is about, obviously enough. Intuition says this to me. Right? Doesn't that make a lot more sense than what you're saying? The stock was overshoot by 120%. The small loss the boosters will incur by dissatisfaction. I mean, the thing is, that's assuming you buy into this whole hedge funds are evil narrative, right? If you don't buy into that, the only people who really benefit are the clever NTJs who came up with the scheme in the first place. Those are the ones who benefit. The one who came up with this legal pyramid scheme. And that's exactly what it is. And a more accurate term would be pump and dump. Yeah, they pump and dump it, right? They pump it up to get everyone all hyped up, and then they dump before it even reaches the peak. How does an ISFP kill time? Well, some ISFPs watch Talking to French people. You missed the ENFJ talk. What happened? ENFJs came around and they brought a horde of ogres with them. And we battled them. I used my swords and my magic, and Rachel used her staff of destruction, and we won the battle. Mostly thanks to Guts and our endless persistent training that we constantly do.
That's because we've been watching anime and it's been inspiring us.
Yes, I'm watching a lot of anime.
I like it.
I it's like so much anime that I'm entirely well, that's what they say, Marge. Sure. Okay, so the investment minimum for minimum capital is $1 million if you want to know. So that's certainly within the range of every public sector pension to invest in. That's certainly plausible for any public sector pension to invest in that. Are you opposed to public sector pensions being successful in the market? Is the stream still going on? It's only been 38 minutes. It's not a very long stream.
No, it's not at all.
Oh, he's talking about somebody else's stream. I'm just curious, Eric, how do you keep the lights on at home? Are you still working? I work, I work a fair amount, I guess. Like I get some typings, and I work with my client fairly often, but the main reason why I can have this sort of luxurious enough life is because I'm living here at my dad's house.
Same.
So after I broke up with my last girlfriend, I moved out of her house and came back here, and not that long afterwards, Rachel came out here, and well, I mean, some of them do, Marge, I'm sure. Some of them don't. Right? What's your point? That people can make incredibly poor financial decisions? I already know that. So it's a nice situation, you know.
Yeah.
I appreciate being in the situation because I spent the vast majority of my adult life having to work very hard to, you know, pay all the bills and stuff. And it was what it was, you know. It's like I feel like I've had multiple lives. I had an entire life where I lived in Temple City in this one home that I've rented for 20 years. And do you think most people have multiple lives? It's a good question.
That is a good question.
Yeah, I do in this day and age. I'm on my third or fourth, I guess. It's like, you know, I lived in, I did the conventional thing that you sort of see on TV, or at least you did when I was a kid, where I had a child. I got married. I had a child. And that marriage fell apart very quickly. And I ended up with a different situation, one in which I had a child that I was raising more or less by myself, looking for a mother, basically, for my daughter. And so I started dating my assistant at work, whose name was Candace, and she's an ESFJ, and really very, very motherly, and took right to the job, basically. Took right to the job of conventional wife and mother. So, you know, I lived that sort of sitcom life for the next 15 to 17 years or whatever, as Delilah grew up. Once Delilah got to the end of high school, that marriage, we divorced because the more adult Delilah got, the less the wife and I had in common, since the only thing we really had in common was the child raising. And so then after that marriage is also, well, the other thing that caused that marriage to fall apart was I quit drinking. You'd think that would be good for a marriage. It wasn't good for our marriage because, you know, my ex-wife needed me to be I don't know. Where does the soul fall into your MBTI equation? It's not accounted for per se. I guess on a rationalist perspective. Are you talking about me, Snow Sky? From a rationalist perspective, you'd say that the soul is the identity of a progression of processes through time. That part of existence includes identity, and identity comprises patterns of both attention and behavior and being that persist across time. Now, if I'm going to answer it from a more magical thinking frame, I'd say the soul is separate from MBTI and or any other affable frame of reference, and that's a term we use when we relegate things to a magical thinking frame, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. That relegating things to a magical thinking frame is a way to resolve some issues that are significant in one's life. I don't know what that question means, Snow Sky. Say the soul is the form of the body. I don't know what you mean.
I feel like my soul's gone through like 7 incarnations. That number popped up in my head while we were talking about it.
When I think of the word soul, what comes to my mind is music mostly. You know, it's like I feel that there are moments when I am really feeling it playing music or something that my identity and my process of being are the same in some regard that makes me feel resonant. Soul equals gives it shape from the essence it's derived. I mean, the point of things that we delegate to magical thinking is that they don't need to be defined operationally like that. Or, I mean, that's not really operationalized, but they defy. In other words, things that you delegate to the magical thinking frame don't need to be argued. That's the whole point of delegating them there. That you're not making claims or affirmations or negations. You're engaging in magical behaviors of some kind that allow you to relegate certain kinds of questions into a bin that doesn't require you to answer them with rationality. I was watching Megan talk about the difference between NFPs and NFJs, and she spoke about NFPs feel separate from others while NFJs seek to be a part of others. I relate. I think of the soul as SI and an ENTP. You know, I think that I agree with you there, Hodge Brew. It's a metaphor as much as anything, but it really resonates with me as true. I feel like when I retreat to my SI is when I'm most close to my animal self, I guess you'd say. If that's the soul, then I don't know. Is simulation theory rational or magical? It's essentially a magical thinking frame because it's a plausible explanation that doesn't answer any questions, but again, resolves them nevertheless in some sense. If you can resolve the basic questions of existentiality, like why do human beings exist, or what's my purpose or destiny or something, without having to justify those resolutions, you're a lot better off than if you need to justify all those resolutions, because you're not going to find good justifications for them. There just aren't any. And what's ended up happening is that the unknowable reality of existence has been replaced with this explanation theater called evolution.
So I want to answer Lauren Cuthbert's question about NFJ and NFPs. I don't know. Like, I don't think I ever really, I'm not very group-minded. So I actually tend to disagree with what she has to say. I kind of...
But you do want to be included. I'm often struck by how much Rachel wants to go with me to wherever, even if it seems like a boring errand.
Yeah.
You know, you always want to be included.
Yeah, I do. I really do. Like, when my friends would do something without me, I felt so sad. But so...
Wait, but hold on a second. Suska, I'm confused. I thought I made it clear that magical thinking frames are matters that you relegate to the non-argumentational. You're trying to derive argumentational conclusions from that relegation. That's what I'm saying is not possible once you relegate something. So do you understand what I said? Because you didn't respond to what I said. Rachel gets bored easily. Well, I've heard her say before that she like one of the fears, sort of underlying fears of an INFJ is not being useful, not being needed, basically.
Yeah.
And
being like, not having purpose, even if it is with someone else. Like, I feel like that's my instinct, though. That's my like SS, like instinctualness. Being SX, I definitely like being closer to you than far away. But honestly, like, I was really happy that, look, like, I realize it's easier to be in the group, but I always didn't mind kind of being a little bit on the outskirts, if you know what I mean. INFJs don't mind, like, kind of being on the outskirts of things. Like, Eric always says, like, you'll know an INFJ if they have, like, a band t-shirt and it's, like, an album that only, like, the people who listen to that band know of. Like, that's an INFJ.
Scott, you came in here and you brought up this word soul. And I gave you a definition of it that said, well, rationally, one would just say it's a term we use to describe the identity of a series of behaviors / attentional manners / states of being that express across time consistently. Right? That remember, Snow Sky, let's go back to the beginning. You came in, you asked me to define soul. I gave you a rationalist definition of it. And then I said, if you were going to use a non-rationalist definition, then it would look like this. And then you're trying to make rationalist conclusions based on my non-rationalist definition. So you're not listening and you're not thinking. If you want to derive arguments from my rational definition, go ahead, because that's where it's appropriate. Okay? So you can't have it both ways. Your vagina burns like a motherfucker.
I'm sorry to hear that.
You should stop being Flamora, the flame-eating vagina woman.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best I can give you too.
Snow Sky, you're not talking about anything I'm saying. You're not addressing anything I'm saying, so I don't know what to tell you. You either don't hear me, can't understand me, or refuse to respond to me. Until you do that, I'm not going to go any further with you. You're gone. Snow Sky, there are a lot of things I could be accused of. Being unable to articulate well is not one of them. I am a highly successful professional debate coach who teaches very complex argumentation to even fifth graders. The fact that you cannot or will not understand it suggests you're probably TI polar, probably ESFP, probably cloud.
Lauren Cuthbert, my day has been very nice, actually. Thank you for asking. Ran some errands with Eric, hung out with Eric, watching anime. It was fun.
Metakoyo Gaming, best relationship partner type for an INFJ. I think Rachel and I will both say ENTP.
Yeah. Hands down.
Some people will tell you, sociologists will tell you ESTP.
Yes.
I personally don't believe that that's necessarily the best matchup for intuitives. I think if you have an N first in your stack, you probably need to be with another N type. So, in my opinion, I think INFJ ENTP works out better than ENTP ISFJ or ESTP INFJ, which are the duals according to socionics. I wish I could go back to the Mermaid Lagoon of INFJ women where we all come from with Rachel and be happy forever.
And thank you for the compliment, TinyMan66. That's very sweet of you. And you can go to that mermaid lagoon anytime you want, you know. You could meditate and picture a mermaid lagoon.
It's one of the most uncomfortable places in the world to go to. You've got a bunch of ladies all sitting around, feeling responsible for each other's feelings, and none of them knowing what to do.
Oh my god, isn't it that sounds like mermaid talk?
It's a nightmare. It's called INFJ Cove, where INFJ ladies all sit in silence, looking at each other, wondering if, when they rustled, if it bothered anyone.
Oh my god. Oh, that is how it would be. I don't know any other INFJs. Thank you, SS Senjutsu.
ESFPs when you explain the magical thinking bit. This is the way.
I mean, magical thinking is a 7 idea, I think, but can be applied and used by anyone. And it's important to know magical thinking. I don't know.
As an INFP, I've dated an ESFP, and we had such taste of hobbies. I think it must be an autocorrect or something. Such similar taste in hobbies, or opposite taste in hobbies, or what?
Different taste.
Different taste. Well, you know, it's probably the case that just about everybody can say, I once dated an ESFP, or at least slept with one.
Yeah,
right?
He's right.
Just about everybody can say.
Yeah, just about everybody.
If you are
right?
if you're a super scared, shy, intuitive guy, you can find some ESFP chick out there to sleep with you.
Yeah. It's the truth.
Jay said law of attraction is a temporary truth, which was interesting, and in my life definitely true. Law of attraction is it tries to make willful what can only occur naturally.
Oh, let me send you those pictures before I forget.
Seamus, are you shouting again? ESFPs are whack but crazy in bed. Come at me. Come at me.
I think they feel competitive.
Lauren Cuthbert, you should date either ISTJ or INTJ. You might find ISTJs boring, but then again, you might find their dedicated kindness and love to be refreshing or something.
Yeah. I think INTJ, though, for ENFP. I don't know. I just know that I knew an INTJ who was like, had an experience with an ENFP, and that's all he could ever, like, you know, think about was that one relationship.
That ENFP?
Yeah.
Now, look, Lauren Cuthbert and Seamus the Drunk are both shouting at each other now.
Really?
So, what I want to know,
oh my God.
Seamus, are you an ENTP? If you're an ENTP, Seamus, I want you to go get on Lauren Cuthbert, and you guys can have any dom sexual intercourse. I'd be curious to know what that was.
Any dom?
Yeah. Oh, what are you,
You
Seamus
have the
the
best
Drunk?
sex ever.
What are you, Seamus the Drunk? What type are you? So Desert INTJ, right. Desert INTJ says I get in better with ENFP than any other type. What type is the best lay pissed off person? I don't know, because I've never approached sexual intercourse in that fashion, really. I would say if you were doing what Seamus was doing, you've gotten the boot. No, that's not true. Seamus hasn't done anything wrong. Any dom plus any dom equals shit show. I'm kind of curious as to what that would be like. You doubt your FI dom because dom's not ridiculous. Ain't no big deal. The TV's stressing me.
No, I can do it. I know I can. There we go.
And I not count as an NE-DOM. No. Do you often see ISFPs who think they're INTJs? Well, I tell you what I see in ISFPs is a genuine interest and willingness to figure out what type they actually are, which includes the possibility of ISFP. So ISFPs may come into a typing session. Usually they've at least considered that they're ISFPs. It's on their list of possibilities. Whereas like ESFPs come in intent to convince me there's something else, right? Where it's the difference between NI as an absolute value versus an instrumental value.
You smell so good.
I smell like Skywalker OG.
And like, yeah.
One of the reasons why ESTJs are disliked, I don't really think ESTJs are disliked. I think ESTJs have problems getting very close to people. They mistake, I guess, useful engagement with people for relationships. Like my dad's always talking about how my mom deserves to be cared for because she earned it by working hard her whole life. It's like,
Oh, no.
Is that why, Dad? Is that why mom deserves to be cared for? But my dad doesn't have a good relationship with his own FI in a metacognitive sense. He doesn't have very good ability to think about his own thinking. Which type is best at physical combat? Well, I'd probably guess ESTP, ESFP, ISFP, or ISTP, one of the four. I'm going to go probably ESFP. If you look at Logan Paul and Jake Paul, I think Logan Paul is an ESTP and Jake Paul is an ESFP. They're both pretty good boxers. Logan Paul's bigger, but Jake Paul is he's a better fighter, but ESTJs can be very successful athletes as well, because they probably are the most, like, ESTJs are perfect Japanese males in some regard. They're constantly working and getting shit done and not sleeping enough, and maybe ENTJs are even better. They're good boxers for guys off the street. They're not actually good boxers. Okay, well, look, Freddie Forgiato, if you're comparing him against Mayweather or something, sure. They're not good boxers. But they're surprisingly good boxers considering they're not boxers, I agree. I think Logan Paul is not a bad guy, I think he got...
wait, which one? Logan?
Yeah, I think he got...
Logan Paul's not a bad guy.
He got checked at some point by reality in a way that he kind of needed to, and it helps him grow up. Jake Paul, on the other hand, is a complete mess. I agree with what Legends Fall says there. ESTJs are good at individual sports like marathon running where they can use empirics to track their progress. In fact, my dad said he was best at track in high school. He participated in a number of sports and band and stuff,
Man.
No, I agree with you that Logan Paul's grown up a lot.
Logan Paul has grown up a lot. I remember when they were on Vine. That's how long ago it's been. It's like 10 years. He's grown up a lot. Jake Paul is they have clips of Logan Paul being on the phone with Jake Paul and Logan Paul being like, "You're lying again, Jake. Like, why are you lying again?"
I don't think ENTPs are the best type of debating necessarily. SSJ, Senjutsu. As somebody who has coached a variety of students in debate, they are not the easiest type to make great. It's probably easier to make INTPs and INTJs great. INTJs are the easiest type to make great. In other words, like, okay, this kid's got a chance to win nationals. INTJs are probably the most coachable kind. ENTPs are annoying to coach because of the NI ignoring. I've got one right now who's a pretty good debater. He's won a couple tournaments, but he likes to go with what he comes up with on the fly. He likes to go with the newest thing rather than the strongest thing. And it's something he's learning not to do. He needs to learn to crystallize stuff a little bit better. So in debate, it's very important to sum up your arguments in a way that links back to framework and also tells the judge why they should vote this way on this, etc. Right? And to do all of that stuff in a single nugget is very important.
Wait, Hod's Brew, are you saying that Jordan Peterson fucked up all the journalists? LOL? Is that how you're writing it? Because that's pretty juicy. Oh my god, Venus is a boy, Time Man says 6. That came up on my playlist like 3 days ago. And I don't usually listen to Bjork. That's I think Bjork is oh my gosh, she's FI. She's gotta be FI. She's the one who talks like this from Iceland.
Yeah, I know. I know who she is. She's extremely ridiculous. I don't know what. It's like when Bjork comes up, my mind just sort of shuts off.
It like, really did.
I don't even know what to think about her. I start thinking about other things. What do you do with that?
Oh my god, no, we have to type her. And all the little butterflies.
Have some more. It's beautiful.
Yes, I made a song and it was for my rabbit. She has long ears.
I don't know.
I don't know what she is either. I thought INFP for a long time, but I think maybe ISFP.
I think ISFP.
Yeah.
I don't think she's that ideational.
No, she's definitely not.
She's creative, but not ideational, you know?
Yeah.
You think Bjork's a genius? I think one of Steve Martin's best jokes was when he hosted the Oscars and she wore that swan dress.
Yeah.
And he got up after her thing and said, "Oof, I am sure glad I didn't wear my swan dress."
That's great.
That would have been so embarrassing.
Steve Martin should be a famous person that we host.
Well, I mean, Steve Martin, if you talk about like people that I respect and consider influences and stuff, Steve Martin is among them for sure. Donald Fagen and Steely Dan is among them.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's like an easy. We got to go see them play. I mean, we have to.
We'll see what COVID does with us, You're gonna cook something for us? What are you cooking? What's Lauren Cuthbert cooking?
Well, if it's not now, then sometime when.
Lauren Cuthbert, okay. Can you make us chicken tenders, please?
Yes, please. Can I have some hot sauce on the side?
Well, we could get our own hot sauce.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about hot sauce.
Oh, okay. We'll bring our own.
Yeah, we'll bring our own hot sauce.
Okay.
You just make us the chicken tenders. Roxanne is a vastly underrated comedy. I haven't seen it in a long time.
I haven't ever seen it, so we should definitely watch that. I'm a Steve Martin fan. I liked him as a kid. I liked him on SNL and when I was younger, when he was in Father of the Bride, I thought he was really good in it. But I really liked him on SNL. I thought he was really good. Was he a guest or
Wait, hold on. Is Leaf Trimmer getting into an argument with somebody?
Wow.
Leaf Trimmer?
Old times are here again. Good times are here again. Is that what it is?
Grilled cheese on tiger bread. I guess they were all out of lions. My dad said the other day, it's really a sign of the times when you have to go to another county to get a haircut. Which is how it is here,
Yeah.
My dad has to go to Riverside County to a barber called Freedom Barber to get a haircut.
Pretty gnarly.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. I meant gnarly in a bad way.
I know.
Oh, okay.
This officer was asking why so many men are simps.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
The topics that come up on here.
I don't think so many men are simps.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case.
That's never.
Like.
When have you ever said that?
No, he's not saying I said that.
Oh.
I'm just saying when you ask a question like why are so many men simps, right? Really, you should say, is it the case that so many men are simps?
That's a great way of
we should
putting it.
begin with that question.
That is a professional way of asking that question.
Didn't California and New York just reverse their stay-home orders? I heard something the other day about how we were going to suddenly be unlocked all of a sudden. I don't know. Who knows? I'm not even paying any attention anymore. Politically weaponized cold virus. Too bad we buy Hod's brew. Too bad we can't figure out a way to turn your notion there, Legends Fall, into an acronym, Too bad it's not called POVID or something, or POWIC. If it were called POWIC, it would be perfect. Instead of COVID. Yeah.
COVID, yeah.
Yeah, LA County is particularly wacky. I don't know what to make of it. It's it's all over the place. There's this meme I put up a long time ago, which is this picture of like a child's scribbling with crayon all over a piece of paper or something, and it says our COVID policies. And that's the best analogy.
Like colors layered on top of other colors.
Yeah, just a bunch of random scribbles. That's our COVID policies. So,
pretty accurate.
What can you do at this point? It's like I finally feel kind of like I'm coming out of a bit of a funk today. What type is Michael Cera? That's a good question. He always plays ISFJs, it seems like.
Oh my gosh, he does!
So he probably isn't ISFJ, but he might be. That's a good question over my head.
I think he's ISFJ. Because remember in Scott Pilgrim, he played Scott Pilgrim like so good.
I was just thinking it's possible he could be an ESFJ who's good at playing ISFJs. Well, hello, cheater. I mean, Peter.
Oh.
Rachel and I caught Peter cheating on us earlier today. With the neighbors across the street. They brought out their adorably winter-clad Asian baby. You know how sometimes you see like Asian baby in way too many clothes because it's cold outside, and they're just like those
so cute.
little roly-poly winter babies. And she had that baby out there feeding the peacock. And of course, Rachel and I can't compete without a little cuteness.
No.
So if that's important to Pete, we were thinking maybe he wasn't even going to visit us today, but well, here he is. He doesn't like this stuff that much. Huh?
I use that.
He likes this stuff more.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't give him a handful because we know he's being fed other places. Oh, hello, Peter. What plumage you have? Tommy plumage?
He does have lovely plumage.
He does.
If that bird were a plant, he'd have foliage, but since he's a bird, he has plumage.
Did you have any of that chocolate cake?
No.
That fork is from me.
Okay.
I wanted to know what you thought of it.
I agree. Syncrotic. We need to mandate butt masks.
Butt masks?
Butt masks to prevent fart spreading of COVID.
Yes! Thank you!
I've been advocating this for years now. Thanks. They're made by the Haynes Corporation. Cover your entire body with masks. Full body masks. I mean, is body odor something that you could spread COVID with? If I can smell your pitch, can I catch COVID from that? And if I just put on deodorant but not antiperspirant, am I still susceptible to giving you COVID from my odors? But if I put on antiperspirant because I don't sweat, then I don't give you COVID? Should we mandate antiperspirant? Which type do you think is most likely to mistype themselves outside of ESFPs? Probably ISFPs, but they're reasonable about it. They're likely to be they're the type that's most likely to come to me and say, I don't know, I'm confused, I've gotten these different results, I need clarity on this. And they're down to be ISFPs after they come to terms with what that means for a bit or whatever. But they're not down to not have the issue resolved.
I think INFJ is second.
INFJ is another type that if they don't get clarity on their type early on, they're not going to be satisfied until they get clarity on it. Probably INTJs as well. But I don't think INTJs are likely to question it much.
Mm-mm.
They're probably going to figure that out pretty early on and be pretty clear about it.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
I could be. It's true. I wonder if my ocular transmission. I don't think my eyes really transmit anything, though, Oliver. I wonder if my voice can carry COVID. I wonder if waves of sound passing through the air are a medium upon which COVID can hitch a ride.
Possible.
Possible. A lot of people don't want to be feelers. Well, I mean, there are a couple exceptions. People don't mind being INFJs, generally speaking. Although I have encountered an INFJ or two that came in thinking they were an INTP or possibly an ENTP.
Yeah, that's what my typing, when I started getting typed as ENTP, is when I emailed you, because I was like, how the fuck can I go from ENFP to ENTP, and what's going on with this test?
You're right. Yes. This color is now called COVID yellow. And this is Corona green.
Oh. COVID yellow, Corona green.
Yeah.
Looks like a party shirt.
Well, I guess that's about all the energy I have for live streaming right now. Yeah. Thanks for being here, everyone. It was a pleasure seeing you all again. My dad is not planning on getting inoculated. Wait, Shermer. Actually. China's starting to do anal swabs as part of their COVID testing.
Oh my gosh.
It's hilarious. I'm not horny. I had sexual intercourse earlier today.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. You're welcome, Jules 1969.